In this video, we are gonna explain you everything about Kettle Lakes. What are Kettle Lakes? A kettle or kettle hole is a depression or hole in a glacial landscape. A kettle lake is simply a kettle hole that has filled with water. How a kettle is formed? Let's take a look at the origin. They are fluvio-glacial landforms, meaning they are created by the combined action of glacial ice and the meltwater, fluvial, flowing from the glacier. When we look at the size and shape of kettle lakes, we can say the following. Kettles are typically circular or oval because the ice blocks tend to melt into rounded shapes. They are usually quite shallow, often less than 10 meters deep, but can range from a few meters to over 10 kilometers in diameter. A small recap on the characteristics of kettle lakes. Origin: fluvio-glacial. Situation: found in glacial landscapes. Size and shape: quite shallow, circular and oval, variety of diameters. Now we go something deeper in the formation process of kettles, the melting ice block. Kettle lakes are a direct result of the last ice age and the retreat of continental glaciers. This formation process goes in 3 steps, the 3-step formation. 1. The isolation of dead ice. 2. Burial by outwash. 3. Melting and collapse. First, we have the isolation of dead ice. As a massive glacier begins to melt and retreat, large, stagnant chunks of ice, often called dead ice or seracs, break off carved from the main ice sheet. Then we continue to the burial by outwash phase. Meltwater streams carry vast amounts of sediment, sand, gravel and till, which are deposited in front of the glacier in a large, flat area called an outwash plain, sandua. This word, sandua, is Icelandic. You can find many outwash plains in Iceland. These sediments partially or wholly bury the stranded ice block, effectively insulating it from the sun. Finally, we have melting and collapse. Because the ice is buried, it melts very slowly, perhaps over hundreds or even thousands of years. When the ice finally melts completely, the overlying sediment collapses into the empty space, leaving a depression, the kettle hole. This depression then fills with groundwater, precipitation, or surface runoff, becoming a kettle lake. Now look at some key terms related to kettles to get your geomorphological knowledge up to date. Glacial outwash. That is sediment, for example, sand or gravel, that is carried and deposited by glacial meltwater streams. Outwash plain. A broad, flat area of glacial outwash deposited beyond the terminal moraine. Kame and kettle. A hummocky terrain characterized by a jumbled mix of kettle holes, depressions, and kames, irregularly shaped hills of layered sediment. Would you like to play a quiz about these fluvio-glacial processes? You can play my educational game at Purpose Games. It is called Retreating Continental Glacier. This is the perfect way to find your way around these geomorphological terms. You can find the link to this quiz in the description of this video. Now we are gonna have a look at the geographical distribution of kettle lakes around the world. Where can we find kettles? Kettle lakes are found globally in regions that were once covered by continental glaciers during the Pleistocene epoch, Ice Age. You can find many of them in North America. This continent has the highest concentration. The Prairie Pothole region is a vast area stretching from Alberta and Saskatchewan, Canada, down through the northern US states, North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Iowa, where thousands of kettle lakes form crucial wetland ecosystems. Especially you see them in the northern United States. States like Wisconsin, which features the Kettle Moraine State Forest, Michigan and New York have numerous kettle lakes. Of course, also in Canada, kettle lakes are common across the vast glacial landscapes of Ontario, Nunavut and Baffin Island. In Europe there are also a few nice examples. They are also found across the northern European plain in countries like Poland and Germany, which were covered by the Fennoscandian ice sheet. And what do you think of this beautiful kettle lake in the Netherlands, Henskotermeer near the Utrechtsche Heuvelrug? Kettle lakes have an enormous ecological significance. Kettle lakes are important because they provide essential wetland habitats for migratory birds, especially in the Prairie Pothole region, and other wildlife. They also act as natural reservoirs for groundwater recharge. They can evolve into kettle bogs, acidic, nutrient-poor wetlands, as they fill with organic matter, supporting unique plant communities. Let's recap that. Ecological significance. Wetland habitats. groundwater recharge, evolve into kettle bogs. For the real fanatics, nature lovers and backpackers among us, we have also created a quiz with the most beautiful kettle lakes around the world. You can play it for free at Purpose Games to test your knowledge. You can find the link to this quiz in the description of this video.